Guys, this is Julie and thanks for joining me on my channel today. I have a nice surprise for you. Joining me is Playmaker, Spider Marker Playmaker, and we're going to talk about his experience in taking a culinary course to obtain an associate's last year. Welcome, Playmaker.
Hi. Thanks so much for having me. This is actually really good. This brings back a lot of memories for me right now.
Well, I'm really excited because I have so many pictures of delicious dishes you've made. You've shared some of your items on your own channel, and you've given me pictures at times to share different recipes that you've had. So I can't wait for them to learn more about how this experience made a difference in your life and how you went about going after a dream you had and not letting the cares of this world stop you. So first, tell us about how you ended up doing this.
Well, to be honest, it wasn't like an adamant dream like my whole life. I mean, like I don't know if every dream starts off like that, but like for me, the real reason why I first began this whole journey was because it just started off with me dealing with my high school advisor, and then they telling me like what I wanted to do. They had internship opportunities for me to take. They had different courses for me to take, and I kept thinking, what is it that I like to do? And I thought the first thing that came to my mind, cooking. I thought that I like to cook. I like watching my mom cook. I like eating. So I thought maybe my thing is to cook for people. So then that's when they got me onto an internship program with it was a place up here called Cultivate Food Rescue. They were a food rescue group that goes to different businesses around South Bend. And we take whatever leftover or not used food that they have, and then we refurbish it and give it to needy children.
Well, sounds awesome. And you never can go wrong learning the skills you learn. They will serve you your entire life no matter what you do, even if it's not in the field of cuisine or aspiring to become a chef.
Yeah, yeah. And then from going into the food rescue program, then it led me to want to actually pursue a culinary degree, and then that's when I came on to Ivy Tech South Bend, where I began my associate's degree, and from there on, got my degree in hospitality management.
Awesome. So, was it a fun experience for you?
Well, it was a healthy mix of fun and just, by not fun, I mean, like, it was work. It was, like, obviously hard work there, but I suppose, like, you had to have a heart for it, and I feel like my heart was only about like 70 to 80% there. But like for the most part, whenever I dealt with certain dishes that I liked or certain dishes that I felt like were fun, like whenever I was making, especially baked goods, my field of expertise there was baked goods and dessert items. But whenever I got into those things, and whenever I actually took the time and to just was able to work through it all and able to design everything, able to get my hands on things and just take a breath and just enjoy everything out of it. It became a really good experience, but then whenever I got to like points of like having to meet a deadline or making sure that everything meets the criteria for an assignment, then that's when the stress kicks in, and then it became less fun for me than it normally would.
Oh, okay.
It was a healthy mix depending on the situation. Like really, any of them can be fun. You just got to focus on what position, where you're gonna be, and when you have to have it done. Otherwise, it's all gonna be work.
And also remember, when you're doing what you love, it's really not work. Even when it's stressful, even when it gets difficult, if you love what you're doing, then it's really not work. So even during those times that you felt stress, you still were feeling joy in accomplishing something and learning something and doing something that you love.
Yeah, and I kept trying to live by this one bit of information my dad had been telling me since I was like 12. He always told me, if you like what you do, you'll never have to work a day in your life. And I always use that as a major de-stressor for me.
Absolutely. So we're going to start with some of the pictures you've sent me to show some of the delicious creations you've had, and you'll see them throughout this video. I'm going to start with almost everyone's favorite, pizza. So tell us about these two delicious pizzas that are on screen.
Well, so as you can already tell, I really like pizza. And while the culinary field does teach you a lot of like the basics about cooking and baking, they don't teach you like everything, or at least not like the simpler things. So like, I mean, sure we made like a hamburger or like sausages here and there, but like we never made any like American classics. So, like we never made hot dogs. We never made
That's a good thing.
But we never made pretzels. I was kind of mad about that because I kept seeing about that. But we actually almost made a pizza once, but apparently my chef didn't get the dough in time.
Well, it looks like you learned enough skills to make two delicious looking pieces here. So the one on the
Yeah.
right, if I'm not mistaken, you said was spinach.
Yes, spinach and garlic with a white bechamel sauce.
And then on the right, there's a pepperoni.
Classic pepperoni. Yeah, with deli style pepperonis.
They both look delicious. They look like you have some really great skills. Was this your first time making pizzas?
Well, technically third. The first time I ever did, I actually did make the dough from scratch, but I don't know what I did wrong. I might have put a little bit too much water in, but the dough ended up becoming really sticky, and as you can tell, and I don't have a picture of it, but when I made it the first time, I actually worked it out really bad, and it got so glutinous that it became a giant big cracker essentially. So it was good. It was just really bad. So like this time, and then another time, I shared it with you personally, but another time when I made dough, they were all from the store, just the store bought dough that was pre-made.
Mm-hmm.
And in all honesty, although I did roll out one of them, my dad actually had to help me roll out another one because he actually made pizzas for a while for a job when he was 16.
Well, that's always fun when you can get others involved with you. But these look absolutely delicious, and they definitely would inspire me if I didn't already make pizzas from scratch to want to try. It's nice being able to go out, of course, and you can order pizza and so forth. But when you can make them and have the skill to make them on your own, you can be creative as you want with toppings, with the crust, with the sauce. And again, it's something you can share with others and have fun doing. So this is a really great picture. Now
my family absolutely loved it.
Awesome. Now, I'm raw vegan, and I asked you about vegetables, and you sent me this one of ratatouille, which is also one of Rascal's favorite movies. So tell us a little bit about this ratatouille and what goes into it.
Well, the base of any ratatouille is always going to call for a essentially blended vegetable mix. It's mostly going to be peppers, and then you throw in some tomato and onion in there, and then we pretty much just puree it until it's this nice creamy texture. And then once it's put at the base, then we add the typical vegetables in a ratatouille, which are going to be sliced concassé tomatoes, eggplants, zucchini, and some more onions around the side. Now, this ratatouille, I don't say I've made it better, but this one wasn't exactly my best because here's another big skill. There's one thing that my chefs always told me every year was that a recipe is only a guide. So this is what they always said, that you gotta cook with your heart and your mind whenever you do it, because sometimes the recipe's not gonna make sense. Sometimes it might ask you to use too much or too little water or flour or butter, and that's where your own common sense is gonna have to play. Here we didn't really do a whole bunch of that because we didn't make enough tomato and pepper sauce to where it could cover the entire thing, and so I don't know if you can tell, but this ratatouille is a little dry, and that's the way it kind of came out.
Well, it looks delicious to me, and I'm definitely going to try making a raw vegan version. I'm going to try to make a raw one. To heat it, I can put it in the dehydrator.
It absolutely, it actually was the only thing was the looks. Honestly, it really did taste good, really, really sweet. There was we put a little bit more tomatoes there. I don't know if there was supposed to be more tomatoes or not, but I really liked it sweet.
Sounds good. Now, the next picture you're seeing is of these beautiful tarts. And that's another one of my favorites. So right now, I'm very happy because we're going over a lot of things that I love. How did you come about making these tarts?
Remind me again, the tarts that I said you...
It looks like they've got kiwi and strawberry, some blueberries.
Oh, that one. Yeah, it was actually for a major event that we were having in my school. It was a mini service event that we were cooking for our families, and so we everybody had to come up with something the chef came up with. So that one was a sweet cream tart with a fruit topping, and you can't tell, but there's actually an apricot glaze over each one of those fruits.
Oh, that sounds delicious.
And so, the main point was not only to showcase our service skills, but also this was also a big test of our knife skills. So every one of those fruits, every one of the slices and everything had to be done by hand to certain angles, especially the mangoes. My chef had to literally demo the whole class of everybody how to cut a mango, how to cut each piece, and how to make sure that each piece is going to be the same size on everything, because uniformity is key with that.
Well, they look as beautiful as the ones I've seen in the cases at Mariano's and Whole Foods, so you should feel really proud.
Oh yeah, I did. That's actually what I felt more surprised when I went to Whole Foods the first time.
Now, in the next picture you're seeing, there are yeast rolls, and yeast rolls are difficult to make even when you buy them in the store in a package, them turning out right. So is this one of your favorite foods that you actually got to make, or how did we come about these yeast rolls?
Well, this was in my bakery class, or basics to bakery. And we pretty much, this is when we were learning the basics of how to make yeast, just what processes to use yeast or any other kind of leavener, like baking, basic baking powder and acidics leaveners. And these were definitely one of my personal favorite ones, because I'm a big carbo loader, so I definitely liked making each one of these. And then the key, this is also one where in every class we learn a new skill, but my chef also told us a lifelong skill, to how to roll out each roll. Apparently there's a skill where you literally can just make a cat paw, put a dough ball out on the table, and then just round it out. And then that's how. And then it might look funny when you do it the first time, but once you master the skill, once you get your fingers just right and put them in, roll each dough ball out on the table, they actually all can reach that perfect level of smoothness there. I've seen some people where they didn't do it enough, and then there were certain blotches or certain crimps in it. But it's just, that's why we had to make so many. We had to practice it over and over and over again.
Well, all of these look delicious.
They reached the thing. And there's actually another secret in there. It's not just the yeast in there. We actually put powdered milk in there.
Now, is there an egg wash on them as well?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, they look delicious. So the next picture you're seeing now is of macaroons, and this is something you really wanted to talk about. So what type of macaroons are these, and is this something that is simple to make, or does it take a lot of practice?
A healthy mix of both. This is my second time. Oh no, this one's my first attempt, but I've made them several times before, and it got easier as I remember the recipe and kind of just biblically trying to remember the recipe. But yeah, it can take a little bit of practice when you want to make sure that you get the mixture right. I'll explain that in a second. So first off, to answer your first question, these are blue raspberry macarons. I actually got the idea to make these when I saw for those of you who don't know, there's a chef there's an online chef out there. He gives tutorials called Binging with Babish. He gives all kinds of recipes from movies and TV shows and his personal ones. And he was doing an episode based on the show, on the Disney Plus show The Mandalorian, where one of the Star Wars kids is eating these blue cookie things, and then the Binging with Babish guy Andrew, he pointed out that they were actually macaron cookies. So he got the idea to showcase it to everybody, and then he showed us the practice of how to make them, and it was difficult, not just in terms of how I was putting it together, but in terms of the ingredients to find for it, because I had to look for liquid tartare, I had to look for raspberry flavoring, I had to look for almond flour, which I didn't know up until that point was a thing I bought from the store, which was also expensive. Why would a small pouch like that, or at least I thought it was small, cost $9?
Well, I make it from scratch, and because almonds are expensive, and it's real easy to just grind them yourself and then sift it, and you can get a nice fine almond flour. If you want a coarse one, then you just save what's in the sifter.
Yeah, that actually sounds a lot easier than what I had to do, especially since his recipe required us to sift flour and sugar, a powdered sugar, through a mesh sieve 3 times, and that almond flour was clumpy in the sieve, because I had to literally put each batch in 3 increments, and then I had to do that thrice, so I had to put that thing there 9 times.
Oh my gosh. Use a juice strainer the next time. If you take your hand and rub it over, the fine particles come through, and you only have to do it once.
Yeah,
I guess if it can share.
The whole point. It's the whole point of this thing. There's supposed to be a labor of love and hatred, which is why I had to do it so many times to get to these things. And especially when they make you use you can see in the background I had a measuring scale there, because everything from the littlest bit of flour to the littlest bit of sugar to each individual egg yolk, I had to measure out 99 grams of egg yolks specifically for this thing.
Well, they look delicious. It looks like it turned out great. And I don't know if I would have the patience to do them, but they look delicious, and I love eating them when they taste good.
Oh, trust me, they were so worth it. I like even though they were like took so long, and I got mad at that one little bubble at the top of them because I didn't spread them out evenly enough, so like they made that one little bubble at the top. Despite that, they came out like the best cookie sandwiches I've ever made in my life.
They look like it. The next picture quickly is orange chicken, which also looks delicious. And then you've got this next recipe that you told me is a French onion soup. It's in the square dish, it looks like.
Yeah. Yeah, that actually was the very first thing I ever cooked when I started this program, like as my first classes was soup, stocks, and sauces.
Wow.
The entire top is just Gruyere cheese, and then on the like,
okay.
There's two slices of small baguettes that were broiled under there.
Okay, that sounds good. That looks good too.
Yeah. Yeah, but and what really surprised me, that like when we sweated out the onions to make this whole soup, like we also added a bit of sugar in there, and so when we made this, like when the whole soup came together, the entire soup like was a huge mixture of sweet and savory.
Mm.
Yeah, and it didn't like make it too sweet because I obviously contrasted with the Gruyere and the bread that was there. It wasn't too. I'm not a big fan of onions. Like I like them sweated and whatnot, but like I won't like eat them in a sandwich or anything. But these were actually pretty good. Like they were a really light, mellow tone of onion with like the cheese and the bread there, which I actually really liked.
It really does depend on the type you choose. You get those different flavors in them. Now we have two more I want to talk about. You have a duck dish on a triangular plate.
You are in for a surprise. That's not duck. Those are actually Cornish game hens.
Really?
Yeah, and on top of there, this surprised me too, because like when we were cooking these at first, I thought like, why are we using these? Believe it or not, those on top are actually pan-seared grapes.
They look like cipollini onions. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
That surprised me too. Honestly, I don't know why we did it like that, but trust me, I've seen weirder things here and there than you think. And the game hens, they were good, but I kind of forget the process that we did in it. I couldn't remember if we roasted them, or if they were parse stewed, or if they were what's the term? What's the word?
Braised.
Braised. That's it. I couldn't remember that, but I'm starting to remember being roasted now. But like, yeah, we made it just a simple gravy with it, or not gravy. I'm trying to remember. It was with demi-glace. That's it.
Okay. That looks delicious. I don't even eat meat. That looks great.
Yeah, it was. I remember.
And then the last picture we have here is, I'm going to let you tell what this is because it looks like it's been beautifully wrapped. But you said you cheated a little bit on this one. So let's tell them quickly what this is and how you were able to still give it that effect.
Yeah, that is a beef Wellington.
Mm-hmm.
And so traditionally what it's supposed to be is beef tenderloin that's wrapped in, pan-seared, like just to give it a quick sear on the outside, and then brushed with Dijon mustard, wrapped in prosciutto, and then the whole thing wrapped in puff pastry, where you score it, brush it down with egg wash, and then give it some flaky salt on top. Yeah, those lines you see are actually score marks, not like Thai trusses.
Right, but they did fool me. I thought you had actually scored them. So were you able to do that?
Whenever we're making anything, like especially bread loaves, our chef says it's a good idea to make score marks on the top, for effects of design, but they really could just be any kind of line, just for air to steam out from the bread.
Okay.
So that's like the design I gave for the puff pastry to give it like a whole whimsical Thai looking look.
Looks beautiful. Looks delicious. I wish we had gotten like a cross section so we could see what it looked like inside, but I bet it was delicious.
Yeah, I actually did have a cross section of that, but I sent it to my mom a while ago, and like I have this bad habit of deleting some pictures and saving others, and unfortunately that was one of the ones I tossed out.
Aw. Well, I hope you've enjoyed hearing about Playmaker's recipes and experience. So the last thing I want to ask you is, what would you recommend to anyone who has a dream? And as you mentioned, they all don't have to be major dreams. Any dream that you want to do is something that you should look forward to making come true.
Especially for someone like me who's now transitioned to a new stage in his life. Take a solid minute to contemplate not only how, not so much as how you want to achieve those dreams, but what, like, in a bigger perspective, what is it about it? What aspect of it is going to bring you joy in that?
Mm-hmm.
Now, what is it that you're gonna like? What is it that you want out of it? And then, yeah, I mean, like with anything, like just contemplate on how you're gonna do it or what's it gonna do for you later on. But the first step of it is like whenever you do anything, you have to realize is it gonna fulfill you? Is it gonna bring you the joy you want? Because I mean, there was a few times here and there that I didn't feel like I wanted to do it, that I didn't feel like it just fulfilled me. But then I kind of just snapped out of it for a minute and then just realized everything good I liked about it. Now, that wasn't the case for everything, but yeah, like that's the biggest key about it. Just contemplate yourself about what you want to do.
Mm-hmm. And I like to add that anything that you do, whether you end up sticking with that as a major part of your life or it becomes something you've done that's been an experience, whatever you've learned, you'll be able to apply to something else. So even though you're no longer in the culinary field or thinking of doing that, again, you can still use all these skills all throughout your life, and you've learned them, and they can be applied to any dish that you're making. You can share them with your children later on. You've shared them with family now. So I would also say, remember that any skill you receive is definitely going to be used for something else. But this is a fun, delicious skill. Thank you for sharing it with us.
No problem. This is actually fun to actually reminisce about this.
So if you haven't visited Playmaker's channel, you need to. He's got lots of spider market videos on faith, fun videos, mashups, and everything, and you need to check it out. You'll see a card coming up now where you can just click on it and visit, and subscribe, and be entertained. And if you don't mind, when this is out, Playmaker, the channel you were sharing with us where the person makes the recipes of things that appear in TV shows or in anime and so forth, if you could share that link so we could visit there, that would be great.
Oh yeah, for sure. He is an amazing guy. That's actually where I got most of the recipes that I've cooked in the last few months.
Awesome. So the last thing is, if you like this video, be sure to like and subscribe for more videos like this, as well as my other videos on faith, health, and beauty all year round. And if you would like to be showcased in a dream you've achieved or something you want to share or inspiring others, let me know in the comments below, and I'll be happy to feature you in a video as well. So once again, thank you, Playmaker, for taking time of your day to do this. And I hope you've had as much fun as I've had.
Yeah.
And all of you, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you so much, your support. And if you want me to check out your channel, let me know in the comments below as well. With that, have a fantastic day. Continue to be happy, healthy, and whole. And we'll see you next time.